Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Superboy issue 15 in the first story, The Secret of the Gold Coins. A fun little story where Superboy makes a pirate look bad. Which doesn't sound like a 5-star Superboy story, but it's stronger than some. I do think we have kind of a motive problem in the story. The motive exists, it's just kind of passive in the way it continues to happen. Because once again, it needs for Superboy to continue with a story that could have ended at any time. But the mystery works well enough, and I do enjoy it for the fact that the mystery solution isn't what you expect it to be. They did swerve it a tiny bit. And just from there, I think there was a little more thought put into the story. We just need to figure out ways to make, the middle part a lot stronger. So it's one of these cliched stories that I shouldn't be surprised became kind of a cliched Superman and Superboy story, but I didn't expect it. If I were to guess like Superboy or Superman stories that would have happened over and over again, this wouldn't have been in my top 50, if not even my top 10. It's one of these stories where Clark sees Superboy's image on a historical artifact and then travels back in time to figure out how that happened. In the process, creating the situation that leads to his face being put on something. Here being gold doubloons, gold coins to a pirate treasure. How did that happen? So he just jumps back in time because, well, he can just do that. We're not even caring to create an explanation of how he travels in time. He just does it now. Used to be a different reason every single time he traveled back in time. A different explanation every time he traveled back in time. So he gets with the pirate with the treasure and kind of figures it out right away. Or at least they give us a reason that you would expect that to be. The pirate wants to put his face on it, but he orders that the most dreaded face on the seven seas be put on the coin. And Clark becomes a cabin boy as Superboy. And really, for the rest of the story, he just kind of embarrasses him. Where I think we have a bit of a weak link here, it just kind of assumes he's a bad pirate. I mean, he's a pirate, so he does definitely suck, but I would have wished to have seen him do something horrible. He's a jerk to Clark and his crew, but he never does anything like a villainous pirate would do. We don't see him attacking a ship or trying to attack someone before... I should stress, before he gets on Superboy's case. He does eventually get annoyed at Superboy because Superboy is way too good at his job. At first, inadvertently makes him look bad. Like he polishes the floor too well that the pirate slips and everybody laughs at him, to a point that he keeps trying to kill Superboy, but Superboy cannot be harmed by him because, well, his superpowers, bullets don't work on him, which continues to make him a laughingstock. And then Superboy goes along with it. It's interesting that Superboy doesn't just quit beforehand. I guess he needs for the story to happen so his face gets put on the gold coins, or else there's going to be a massive paradox. But is it all that important his face gets put on these coins? And I don't feel like this pirate had much of a historical impact to, say, get rid of him. He might be a bad guy. We didn't quite do that work before we got to him having a full-on breakdown. I think we should have done more work in the first half of the comic about how awful he was. Doing it in the latter half feels a little cheap. I like things established early on. That's my major complaint. But the surprising part is it ends up not being because Superboy is going to do something that makes him the most dreaded pirate on the seven seas. No, the captain has his face put on the coins because he wants to shoot him with them. A sort of magical belief that if he had like a gold image of Superboy, his bullets would pierce through Superboy's magic. It doesn't work. His powers aren't magic, they're Kryptonian and yellow sun-based, even though that's not a thing yet. But hey, it's an actual surprising and interesting development on why the coins have his face on it. It's not what we expected. I guess it justifies why the story keeps happening, even though Superboy thinks he's figured it out. At least it wasn't just he becomes the dreaded pirate, a thing he figures out like to a third to halfway through the story. That would have been just such lackluster going into it. But also the second half of the story has a lot of interesting little action beats of him like having things blow up in the pirate's face. And I do enjoy that. I just wish we would have established him being bad enough that we could really have fun with him before we got to this. Those two things happen simultaneously. Justify the villain being awful enough so we can really have fun with like Superboy walking the plank and then causing a massive splash to nearly tip over the ship. Stuff like that, great. I love that. Just make sure you establish that villain being truly awful. Okay, that is it from Superboy issue 15. The Secret of the Gold Coins. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday. We cover Batman starring either Detective Comics or Batman. Until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the boy of tomorrow. And does Superboy get these coins? He's just going to give them to a museum, one of the many museums that exist in Smallville. Okay, have a great day.